Welcome everybody to the Breachers VRML Season 4 EU Top 8. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's. I'm joined by the pretty swag-looking old Gravy over there. Gravy, how are you doing today?
I'm waking up, man. I'm waking up.
I know, this is our coffee in the morning here on the West Coast, both me and Gravy jumping into some EU battles this afternoon. 2 best of 3s ahead of us that are with 4 teams that have qualified in through the top 8. We start with Sunset Ravens and Ragnarok EU, then we move on to Acer EU and the Challenger Cup qualifier. For those maybe just tuning in who don't know what's going on this afternoon, this is the postseason of Season 4 for the Breachers VRML. There is skins that they've been qualified, that they have fought very hard for to obtain, that are delivered to all the top 8 champions, and obviously that first, second, and third place honors that they're trying to battle for Season 4. It's basically been, 12, 13 weeks, Gravy, of these teams practicing, playing against each other, and some cases playing each other multiple times to now face off in this postseason.
Yeah, I was looking. I mean, there is some teams that literally play each other like 3-4 times within the season. It's what happens when you don't have too many teams, like you do see in NA. So you do get very familiar with the other team's play style probably really quickly. However, I think these teams that we're about to see here, Sunset Ravens and Ragnarok, as I was taking a look, only played each other 1 time this season. It was very early on in the season, and it was kind of a blowout. It was 14-3 in the favor of Sunset Ravens. However, since it's so early on in the season, teams could have changed. Could have got more familiar with, their team and how they play. Could have been roster changes since then. Lots of different things that could have factored into that.
For sure. And we'll look back at the rosters, but for now we'll look at the stats, because this is the matchup we're going to dive into first this afternoon. Seeds 4 and 5, that's their local standings over the regular season that they've accomplished, battling it out today. So arguably should be a pretty close matchup. When you look at their record, Gravy, that's pretty close. 6-6, 7-8, both about 50% win rates on the regular season matchups. It does mean then that their map win rates are pretty all, similar across the board too, and so I think it'll be interesting when we go and get into map picks, bands, what these teams are thinking, where they want to go. It'll be fun to take a look at these stats because they obviously have both been putting in the work. They've been battling all season long to get to this point. So yeah, I do think that because they started at the start of the season to year end, there's definitely room for them to improve over the course of 13 weeks, at least I hope. And I think we're going to get an interesting battle this afternoon. I do want to briefly talk about Acer EU and the Challenger Cup winners, the Underdogs. I mean, what did you think of? I can't remember if you cast the Challenger Cup, Gravy, for EU or not.
Yeah, I did not cast it for EU. I did cast a little bit of it though for the NA side.
And I mean, the Challenger Cup is a hard battle to work through, right? I think the Underdogs, I'm not sure what their current seeding is. We will pull that up real quick for us. Take a look at our upcoming matchup. Pull the stats. Underdogs coming in at 8th. Oh wow, so they were the 8th team. That's tough. The Challenger Cup position is something hard that you have to work through, and I think there was maybe only 3 or 4 teams that actually entered into the EU Challenger Cup. To your point, Gravy, there's not a huge amount of squads over on the EU side. So if you are a EU player, sign up for the VRML for next season. Sign up and start playing now so you can practice and maybe jump in on one of these teams and create your own, because there is room for a new squad to climb up this ladder. Acer EU and Ivy have been at the top for a long time, and it's going to be interesting to see if they'll be dethroned not this afternoon, because we just have our first stage of the single elimination bracket today, but over the course of this weekend and next weekend, we will finish off this postseason. So, to that end, a lot of games ahead of us, and we have a full lobby.
Nice. Are they ready?
Yes, I've gotten the ready up. I've given them the ready up. It looks like map 1 has been picked, and excitingly enough, it does look like we are going to head into Mall. So let me update our teams back to Sunset Ravens. And
I don't know if you've seen the seen the chat, but there's some people saying that you sound very quiet. Someone
Okay.
called you night quiet.
Night quiet. Oh, interesting. My levels seem okay. My levels seem boosted up a little bit. I appreciate the commentary. Good stuff. But yes, we are getting ready to get into the action here, and Gravy making the way for us as we do start in on map number 1 on Mall.
Absolutely. You know, I love to see a good mall. It doesn't get picked too much. It gets a lot of slander. Actually, a lot of people do not like this map. It's always their least favorite to play. I just think it needs a little bit more love, a little bit more playtime, and I think it could, really turn into something great. Maybe just don't like how big it is. It's a very, very large map, right? So it's really hard to You're not going to be able to play really close to your team. You're going to have, if you're going to have a roamer, you're going to be super far away. So maybe that's just the one thing there. And we do see, starting off, we have Sunset Ravens on the attack side. Looks like they're going to be entering in through Arcade with a very early pre-nade. Only getting a little bit of damage onto Beware's. Joshy standing out in the middle does get taken out, but also gets taken out by his own teammate. So we do have a little bit of a fair trade there. It's still 4v4.
All right, well, now my audio levels should be better, I hope. We'll see. As we do get ready to get back into the mix. Yeah, no, interesting opening. Not exactly what you want to have happen on the start of your first round in the single elimination bracket. This is do or die, Gravy. You really don't have room to lose this afternoon if you want your season to continue, as KC Nova opens up with a couple of kills here. A nice double that gets shut down by Tactical Pan. The last one alive in a 1v2.
Yeah, so another team kill. That's 2 already in map 1. But at least they get the kill, hopefully. So at least it's a trade. But it would be better, if you didn't team kill them, so you could have a little bit more of an advantage. Because now we're looking right now at a 2v1. Tactical Pan is going to go ahead and blow open some walls, create some noise. It does look like both players are going to be sitting on A side, very close together, right on top of each other. Could have ended pretty badly, but at least they weren't completely stacked on each other to where it could be a collateral headshot. It's a little bit of a high-low, and in the first round, it's going to be going to Ragnarok.
I think if we look at match history again, Ragnarok are the favorite here today. But I'm curious what the folks at home are thinking here. As hopefully my audio levels aren't too loud. I do see I'm peaking, so let me see if we can adjust those. But either way, I appreciate the commentary. We appreciate everyone tuning in also. A big shout out to all the folks stopping by for EU Top 8 this afternoon. There's a lot of action on the network today. Obviously, later in the afternoon, we have the NA Top 8 single elimination starting and the end of the Orion Drift Ignition Cup for North America. So another single elimination bracket going on over there as well. So we do have a lot of action on the network this weekend that you do want to catch. Obviously, Sunday, we go back at it again with more rounds of the single elimination bracket. Which teams are... I have to pull up the bracket. I have it right here. We go to Ivy and Chaotic and Valiance EU and Niffin tomorrow. Then we go into the semifinals next Saturday and the third place match in finals next Sunday. A lot of action, like I said, ahead of us on both weekends for Breachers. Orion Drift on Saturday, later today as well. And then we have qualifier tournaments for VRML Con and all sorts of stuff. So the network is hot right now.
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
So, stay tuned for all of that. We do have Sunset Ravens. Looks like they're going to be entering in through the med area. As they're going to be following in this drone, looking for some intel, checking the corners, not seeing anything, because it looks like the entire Ragnarok team is going to be playing very close to site, which is going to be that A site. I think they sniffed out that drone pretty early, so they are familiar that they are going to be doing an A push, as the util does come out, and the proxy does give their position away. Mike's going for a very early plant.
Nice kill there.
With the nade right on his feet, he does get the plant off, but the nade does take him out. It is a 4v4, so it does look good for both of these sides. Tactical Pan, I don't know if you see him, but he's kind of on the flank area. This might be very good for him if there wasn't a proxy and the trip mines to get him.
Oh my goodness. Dyssander picking up a double kill, though, nicely. You're getting overwhelmed, though, by the rest, as KC Nova and Capze swing in. Bewares is still alive, defending the EMP planted. They need to get rid of Bewares here on the corner. Bewares picks up one, but not only one. Is there time? I think there is. EMP should get diffused here by KC Nova. 5-1. out here on the opening for KC, and a defuse. That's a pretty good opening 2 rounds for them.
Yeah, most definitely for Ragnarok getting those extra couple of points on the board. Last time they played it, like I mentioned, it was kind of a sweep. It was 14-3. I mean, they're already 1 point away from at least tying that record there. You know, showing that they're actually a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, 5-1 starting off is definitely very, very, very good. It's a good spot position to be. However, I am hearing a lot of this map being very defensive sided, so we'll see if they can keep this momentum going when we do have a little bit of a round switch. See where the push is going to be coming in from this side. This side, let's see if they're coming in through this bottom door. It looks like they are getting set up by it. I don't know what kind of push you would call this, but it is very dangerous. I personally don't like this one. You have to watch out for people that might be on that stairs or in the kill box in the very back. And then you also got, of course, that you know, just like by the site, like the doorways and stuff. I mean, there's just too many long angles for me personally to have to watch out for. I guess if you get a nice good drone in there and to actually check all those angles, it could work out and be good. It does look like they also have Mike that's going to be going down those stairs as well. So I think they're pretty well set up for this push. It could go pretty well.
Into round number 3, we go. A little drone work to assess the situation, and they're going to find a little bit of resistance there. That door blocker, and then there's going to be some immediate defenders waiting for that door blocker to collapse. Hold down this angle here, as you do see shots through the wall there from Monkey Josh, trying to stop and interrupt any sort of defuses. A nade coming in, but not going to catch anyone out.
They did have a roamer, but did get taken out by Joshy. So now they're going to just start with their whole main push together here. It's a 3v4. They are going to get that wall open. Tactical Panda is going to be pushing in there and getting 2 picks. Can he make it a third on the Capsay?
Nope.
Does get swung out and get taken out by Capsay, but did turn that into a 2v2 when they were at a disadvantage, and they do have site control now. And he does have EMP. He's going to plant it in the very, very nice OP spot, and I think Bewares is going to possibly leave site. Nope, it is all up to Sanders now. They know where each other is.
HP definitely lending into the favor of Sanders. Caps, they try to play ring around the Rosie, but can't. Out in the open, they get caught in the first round, finally into the hands of Sunset Ravens. They go up 2-1.
Being able to go ahead and take advantage of that site and just completely control it and plant basically wherever you wanted, right? There's no one on site. He went for that OG default plant spot. However, I don't think Bewares was on the same page of where he was going to be planting. Probably would have been more beneficial for him to hit dodge and just basically get out of there and hold it from that window peak way outside. Don't think they were on the same page with that. Probably would have gone a little bit smoother. Still worked out in the end. Good little ring around the Rosie peek up.
Yeah.
Did have a health advantage. That was definitely a plus. But I think that was that an Omen versus Vezin could have been pretty bad and swung the other way if it wasn't low already.
Yeah, and that is a decent point too then to hone in on, is that they do have a pretty big economic swap going on here now, where Sunset Ravens are in control of this economy. Down a point, but very much up on their overall kits. You see Vezins across the board coming in there versus Pistols and 2 Omens for Ragnarok. So they are hurting on finances right now. And I don't know. I think Ragnarok losing here, they're still gonna be pretty rough, but I think they'll have enough for a full buy going into round 5.
Yeah, I sure hope so. That is a lot of heavy saving. I mean, we barely even have any util as well coming out from them. We got a couple instants and a nade. Yeah, Sunset Ravens is looking very good over there with their util. Each person pretty much with 2 pieces of util and full Vezins. It would be pretty much a shock if they were to lose this round. Quite the upset.
Have a forward aggressed KC Nova here waiting on the front lines for anyone to push up. Flash is coming in, hitting pretty solid on the offense here. Another flash on the back line doesn't quite catch him out. EMP coming in underneath what is a lot of utility. Potato starts catching a kill at the ensign. Very risky play here to be pushing for the EMP when we have the advantage on rifles, but Kissander on the back line picks up a triple kill and shuts down everybody trying to push up onto the EMP. Scottish Ripper ripping through the final two on defense, and Sunset Ravens bounce right back up into a 2-2 position.
Quite unfortunate that it did also look like there was a disconnect as well from the Ragnarok team. We got Bot Arnie just bot walking straight into the enemy. It was probably not the most useful teammate to have in that situation.
Yeah, and also now, nope, Joshy's back, thankfully. I was gonna say buying into a Vesson, that's pretty crazy. I don't know. That would definitely sting on the economy. But like I did say, Gravy, they are now, after this loss, because of the way they saved that last round, able to full buy here. So we should see a last-ditch efforts, essentially. Because if they lose, it's going to go back to Omens for round 6, and then they're going to be really down on economy, because then it's going to be, again, another fully kitted Sunset Raven squad, all the utility they need with Vezins fully kitted. So it's, yeah, from here on, it's a do or die in this defensive half for Ragnarok. And I got to wonder then what their offensive portion is going to look like. Maybe they're just going to kind of storm through there and end up taking the map win. But for now, Sunset Ravens are definitely keeping this close.
Very, very close. Pretty much whoever wins this round here is probably projected to win the next round as well.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm definitely going to be projecting a 4-2 going into the next half. Could be from either team, as the economy is very balanced now. We don't see too much defensive utility, though, coming out from Ragnarok. I don't think they had the funds to do that. As we can see, Monkey only had $25 to his name. Everyone else, 0.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they really do need to win this round, Nightfire.
Good flash there onto Casey Nova, forces them off their defensive positioning. Shots through the wall from Joshy Quest. Don't connect with him much as Caps A holds him down. Potato Sharky on the front line, trying to poke him fraud at this offense that is hitting them from both sides. As Monkey Josh goes, scoops up Tactical Pain on the outside. I gotta wonder what the plan is for Sunset Ravens here.
Think they're aware that they're going to be pushing in from the other side? Yes, I do see a pink coming out from this other entrance here, as 2 other people are about to collapse onto who's left on the site, and they do take out 2 players, Scottish and DeSanders, basically working through this backside. And then now they're all regrouping back up. It's a 3v2. Looks like they're actually doing a little bit of a site switch. They're going over here to this other site. Does get taken out, though, by Joshy, who's holding that other site, taking out another one as well.
The Marui
Joshy's saying, Monkey, come help me. Come help me. I'm holding it all off by myself. Got 2 picks. There's 1 left.
Oh.
Does take him out as well. He got it all to himself. He doesn't need no help. Look at him go.
5 HP at the end there. And yeah, let's take another look at that opening double kill that ends in a triple. A nice way to lock things in. Scottish Ripper cracks open the wall, but yeah, a double.
They most definitely needed that, because they would not be looking very good going into this next round. I mean, even then, they're still not looking very good. People who can't buy again have to invest into some Omens and RCPs into this last round. A little bit rough.
Should end up being a pretty even round at the end of the day. Because of that loss, Sunset Ravens do have some extra cash from their wins, but they're not really fully juiced here. So it's going to be some Omens, a Viper, and some Vezins coming in on the side of Sunset Ravens. It could very well go 3-3 here at this stage. It is anyone's bet for the last round of the half before we side swap, reset economies, and Sunset Ravens go on the defense.
And then also, real quick, Nightfire, apparently you are still pretty quiet, according to some people in the chat. If you want to fix that, I can keep on yapping for you.
All right, we are adjusting levels, so hopefully this is good. At this point,
I do think there's quite a bit of maybe a meta switch now with the Flashbanes. Those have gotten quite the buff last update. I haven't played since then, so I can't say too much, but according to what people are saying and what I'm seeing, they're being used quite a bit more. I think they slow you down as well when you are hit with it, and gives a little bit of a hit indicator as well if when you hit an enemy with it. And also, flashing your teammates apparently also isn't as long as before, which is also very great.
Yeah,
but yeah, lots of buff all around, and they're a lot cheaper too. You can get 2 of them for $300.
We're seeing a lot of them come out, that's for sure. I'm getting hit with a lot of white screens in first-person mode here. There's a flash in the backline from Desander. They're going to push forward. Another flash from Desander as they vault up. Beware scoops up one on the backside. Desander finds one on site. A is getting cracked open as Joshi tries to hold the line. Beware's pushing in on a short corner swing, and Joshi fending off this push for now.
Joshi defending the site, getting 2 picks, make it a third. It is 2 versus 1. Tactical Pan all by himself was throwing out some util to hopefully stop the advancing push. They aren't pushing, but Joshi with the ace. He got all 5 of them. His team giving him some praise for that on like 2 HP. Wow.
That is an awesome clutch there. That sets up Ragnarok for a interesting offensive half. We swap sides. Ragnarok go on to the attack in the lead 4-2. Sunset Ravens down. And yeah, that's, I mean, hey, you know, the beauty of a big clutch player coming in. And Ragnarok EU in the lead here. Look at the KDs, and you can see Joshi up there with 9 and 3 on the half so far.
5 of those kills just being last round, which is pretty insane. Very, very nice ace there. Especially, you know, doing that in the quarterfinals as well. Congrats to you. Nice clip. And let's see here. It looks like we're going to be doing another bottom side push. Curious to see if they're going to be going with the same way they went before. Oh, sorry. We're doing a little bit of a side switch now. We have a Ragnarok now on the offense. So yeah, this is gonna be completely different. Let's see how they go ahead and try to approach the site. We're gonna start with droning the upstairs area. I'm possibly going to be taking the hatch. This might be a hatch drop, which could be kind of risky. Dropping that hatch is kind of dangerous. I personally don't like it. Too many angles to watch out for as soon as you drop.
Oop. The transmitter's gonna catch out Joshi and Potato on a rotation. They are gonna open up. At least foam and get ready to open up that hatch. Bewares is ready and waiting for that hatch drop, as you say. And we'll see if the pinch from the side is going to be enough to distract, because I think the idea is going to be here is going to be a coordinated and synced up move in here. As Joshi opens it up, they will catch. Beware is trying to rotate out of the instant. And now everyone stacked up on B is really not able to rotate cleanly over to A unless they want to run into this entire offensive team.
Looks like they did a little quick drop after placing all that util to go ahead and grab this wall, but they're probably going to wait on blowing this wall until they get the flank, which they did. They took out Scottish Ripper up there on the hatch, so kind of saved their back a little bit as they go ahead and blow the wall. But no, it was bait. They're going to go ahead and do a quick site rotation. So now they're able to go ahead and get that EMP down while the whole team basically has to funnel through that little doorway right there.
Sander trying to pick up some damage here. Tactical Pan on the flank again, but Joshi is here on the corner. And while shots erupt over on the other side, Joshi springs up to shut down the flank. Desander over the EMP, looking to push things up. But look at the entire team here ready and fending off the assault. And Ragnarok in clean control, 5-2 with a pistol round on the board. And it was a pistol round, so we'll see if that's the indicator that they're going to keep winning rounds here, or maybe, you know, the things are going to shift up here once we get omens into the hands in rounds 2 and 3.
I mean, after that ace, right, your team's mental's got to be pretty high. So you got to kind of ride that wave into the next continuing rounds. And that round was pretty dominating, Nightfire. I mean, they had 4 players up, all pretty good on health as well. They were all coordinated with the plant switch as well. I mean, they basically put they baited the whole team flawlessly. They were all pretty much there. As soon as that wall was blown up, they were getting ready for them to push in, and they said nope, and then just rotated over very quickly, got the plant down, and the whole other team just basically had to funnel through that connector area, which can be very dangerous.
Certainly can. We'll see how things shake up. If they end up going, you know, in a series like this, any little mistake ends up getting capitalized on too. So you oftentimes can't afford stuff like that, you know. And yeah, I'm interested to see if we're going to get a shift up on the pressure here from Sunset Ravens. Maybe we'll see an early kill Mike D10 shifted up here to the front line just a little bit. Going to try and dodge this drone. His tactical pan actually takes it out. A second drone comes in. And an instant actually on the back line. A really nice instant. Joshy goes down to nearly dead, but with a quick heal up, should be back to around 80% for the push. On the backside, Scottish Ripper pops one skull, looks for more. Desander bending things off. A good flash coming in, and again, we're blinded across the defensive board there, but the swing out from tactical pan ends in some good damage. Mike D10 on the flank picks up 2 with the rifle.
All up to Potato Sharky, which this did not go in the way that I thought it was going to be going, considering the complete economy disadvantage here. Now it's up to 1 person left, and Desander was able to go ahead and pick him off in the back end. And yeah, that's it. They were able to pull that off with 1 Omen and 4 Spectrals. I mean, obviously some good placed util and amazing flanks. I mean, Mike D10 on that flank being able to get, what was it, like 2 picks? And then the whole team being able to collapse on top of that. I mean, that was definitely a round they needed to win, and the economy is going to be looking very, very difficult now for Ragnarok on a round they most definitely should have won.
Pull up a couple of replays here. That was a big push in from this for these teams here. They end up scooping up that win, and we're just seeing really good coordination overall from both squads this afternoon, Gravy. It's what I expect out of seeds 4 and 5, quite frankly, in the regular season. You know, it's teams that have been playing all season long. When we look at their matchup history, these teams battled before at the start of the season, but now with a little more experience, we're seeing Sunset Ravens, from at least our perspective, put up a bit of a better fight here in these early maps. Maul, a new map introduced in the start of the season, or maybe halfway. I can't remember. Was it at the start of the season? I think it was, right?
We'll go with it.
and you know, some time to play and practice it, get ready for it to be now play it in the postseason in the most important match of both of these teams, most important series for both of these teams yet this season, because quite frankly, you lose here, your season's over. It's exciting to see us on Maul. I really didn't think we'd get a Maul pick, quite frankly, Gravy. And for now to be this close, it's a fun match to tune into.
Oh yeah, I am here for it. Beware's with an early pick. He was trying to, Casey was trying to get a smoke off. Did get it off still, but kind of caught with his pants down basically, and was taken out very early on. Joshy does get the swing out though from Beware's, and that is a pick making it 4v4. Util coming out, being exchanged from both of these teams here. They do have the foam on the wall, but the push has been pretty halted, as this whole defensive team is basically just doing a lot of damage and wall banes and really holding back this team. They need to throw in some util to take some space, but I don't think they have that much util left. They do have a little bit. There's a lot of flashbangs. They haven't really used a whole lot yet. It looks like they're trying to go ahead and buy some time, but as they're buying more time, it's more dangerous. You're getting more wall banes. I mean, Mike D10 did take one out. Now that the wall's open, he's able to get that long range angle advantage and take out another one, making it 4v2. At this point, Nightfire probably want to go ahead and cut your losses and try to save. You know, a little bit of an Omen save isn't going to hurt no one. You also got a flash to keep in and roll that over into the next round as well. Maybe they might be doing a site switch. And I think the team, I think Sunset Ravens knows that too. I mean, it's really quiet on that other end. I mean, you must be going for a site switch.
Yeah. Saving Omens.
If you're doing one at all.
Yeah, saving Omens, is it worth it? I don't know. You know, maybe getting a kill a bit more valuable at the end of the day if you can, because that Omen SMG giving you a little bit more money in the bank with those kills. So.
As well as disrupting the economy of the other team. You know, when you're full buying Vezins and Maruis.
They synced up and pushed into some fire that they've instantly died to. Mike and Desander with Maruis over Omens going to prevail. And Sunset Ravens in control right now, Gravy. They are economic leaders. They've got the weapons. They've got money in their pockets for future rounds. Ragnarok are finally going to be able to full buy here, but no utility. And that's an interesting risk to take, right? Maybe it's better to have one player eco, full buy into all utility for the rest of the team. They end up going with maybe a Viper or even a pistol at the end of the day, but at least 4 of your 5 are fully kitted versus 5 of the 5 just with rifles. I'm curious on your perspective.
I mean, this round right here is kind of do or die. We're getting right up here to the chopping block. Last couple of rounds of the match. I mean, I would probably stick with I'd probably do the same thing that they're doing here.
Yeah,
If Ragnarok doesn't have as much economy, too much money to necessarily spend on util for all their players, might as well get a semi decent good. Looks like I got the Viper, and then that saves you a little bit more money to go ahead and buy the rest of the gadgets and stuff for your team, because the utility is important, especially with the meta now. Apparently with these flashes, gotta buy a bunch of those.
Yeah, curious to see how that prevails in NA too, because sometimes you do see differing play styles between teams. How quickly are players catching on to how effective this is, and how skillfully can they deploy it over the course of the many changes with grenades. You can pinpoint those grenade tosses these days, so to be able to pinpoint your flashbangs around corners, hit spots that are pretty tactically, pretty standardly meta defensive positions, it enables you to do a lot.
And then we have Tactical Pan on a peak right there. It does take out Joshy.
Oh.
And then Mike D10 also getting the kill as well. Looks like they were playing together on that little tiny peak. It did work. And hey, the Viper is getting the kill. They are starting to push from the other end. Casey picking up 2. They are at a 2v2 now, but now it comes down to a health advantage type thing here. Oh. And they get collided by Mike D10, who does pick up 3, I think, in that round.
Tactical Pan and Mike just working together with double Maruis, a double danger threat there, and absolutely mowing down the entire team. That duo cut down all 5. It was a duo ace, if we could have called it that, right there, if it would have showed it up. Those two clean out Ragnarok.
Doing lots of work together. They play that very well. Basically stopping the push upstairs. It looks like it was a little bit of a split push. They work towards the split push and clear that out too. 2-man army for sure. And I think it's quite interesting that they rolled out, Triangle Factory rolled out the flash update and a little bit of a balance changes and stuff right as finals is about to start. So they gotta. Oh, we're not gonna have a winner just yet.
Yeah, we're in here, so good.
We're good.
We are into the round. I'm gonna have to adjust some things here, so do give me a second. We made it in time for at least the 1v2, but bear with me as I change everything else. Oh,
now it's a 1v1. Casey is going to be starting that plant. I did get the plant off, but I mean, at this point, you just go for the 1v1 at this point, and Mike does get the 2v1 on 4 HP, and now we have the winners. I was going to see if we're going to be going into an overtime, but
clutch.
What a clutch. Mike D10 these last 3 rounds have absolutely just turned up the heat and just went absolutely bonkers on Ragnarok with all these clutches and multiple kills with Pan, and really putting in the effort there. I mean, as we see here, 16 and 8. Both Joshy and Mike 10.
I wonder
both doing that.
Have to wait here. Manage this. It might go back live on the stream that it's still on, so I do apologize for any technical issues here as we do sort them out. We are going to cut to a brief intermission. We come back, hopefully map 2, so don't go anywhere.
welcome back, everybody. As we're going into map 2, map 1 was quite spectacular. Had a little bit of trouble difficulties there at the end, but we were still able to go ahead and see that little. We still to see the important round there, the one that mattered, right?
Yep.
We were able to go ahead and capture that awesome clutch there from Mike. And as we're going into map 2, we have Factory this time, a fan favorite. A little bit more, let's say, picked over Maul. You know?
No kidding.
Just like maybe a little bit.
I mean, I'm curious to look at the stats, which we'll pull up here in a second. But yeah, we do have Sunset Ravens on the defense, Ragnarok on the attack, and Sunset Ravens again coming off of that with that map win, huge double kill clutch that we just caught the end of, thankfully. And let's take a look at the stats. What do they say here? Gravy, Sunset Ravens on Maul. I played it 32 times. Ragnarok, it wasn't even on their list of maps played. So as we now
Did you say 32 times?
32 rounds, sorry. 32 rounds.
Oh, okay.
And now as we go to Factory, Sunset Ravens have played at 39 rounds, but Ragnarok have played at 55. So a little bit more play time from Ragnarok here this afternoon on Factory. But honestly, it's a map that everyone has put so much time in that I don't imagine familiarity or really any of that is going to be a deterministic factor. It's going to come down to execution grade with these teams coordinating together and outperforming their opponent. Absolutely.
Not a single play that any of these teams have not seen before. Everyone pretty much plays this map exactly the same, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Really, it's going to come down to gunplay and how well they execute and run with their team on these rotates and these picks that they're getting. And it does look like we're getting 2 very early picks here from this Ragnarok team. Looks like they are going to be coming back here and getting this back wall open. And it's a 5v3, but it looks like they're very set up. They got basically all of control of Tetris area. And there's only Scottish Ripper that's really there to go ahead and apply any pressure in that Walker's area. So they're going to get set up here. Josh with the EMP, but Ripper stopping their push and their momentum there with the Taurus. About to run into Josh here, taking them out as well. That's 2, and he does have EMP and did call it out to his team. Oh, very fortunate pick there from Casey, because now it's not even anymore. Now they do have the advantage yet again, and Scottish Ripper is very, very low on HP. He's going to have to go ahead and stop that whole EMP push by himself. Does also get taken out by Casey. And yeah, they're looking very good as well. Looking at a 3v1 as they were able to go ahead and, yeah, they were going to be safe. They were going to be able to get that plant down and get some people out of there if they really wanted to. They're going to be good.
Solid pistol round from Ragnarok, but it is just a pistol round. And as we do swap objectives, obviously we'll see how Factory unfolds between these two teams. I got to imagine if you're Sunset Ravens, you're feeling pretty good coming off of a map win that I don't think most people statistically expected. I did see some folks in chat saying that Sunset Ravens would win, but you look again at their match history. It was Sunset Ravens that won 14-3. So I guess Ragnarok were outperforming. Okay, I had it the other way around in my mind. I thought Ragnarok were the ones that had won, but it was Sunset Ravens that had won 14-3. So if anything, Ragnarok are, even now on map 2, outperforming expectations of past season performance. Up 1-0, and we'll see if they can keep pushing it up on the offense.
Yep, they had that whole season to really figure it out and what went wrong. So this is their retribution at the very late end of the season, all the way out in finals. I mean, I probably take it for granted that they probably scrimmed a couple of times during the postseason, you know, waiting for all of this good stuff to go down. But here they are, where it actually matters. Here at the end, winner takes all. Well, I mean, moves on.
Yeah.
Takes all from this match.
Utility comes in there.
Beautiful nade coming out, taking out Beware's to literally 8 HP. Nearly killing him.
A pretty aggressive initial defensive setup there, trying to poke and prod out the doorway. It has slowed things down for a little bit here, as you do see Ragnarok stalling out on the outside door here, not necessarily keen on crashing in to what is a Omen-laden defense on the front line. They've got static emitters down to slow things down if they do push in, and who knows what kind of utility will come lobbed over the top. if they do try to crash into the outside of B. So have to be cautious. A nice flash there. Look at the hatch break as Tactical Pan slowed down, and a wonderful bit of coordination. You love to see it. Another
They were
flash.
able to go ahead and get all the picks that they needed very early on, and yeah, it is looking at a 4v1. Beware still on that 8 HP from that grenade, basically trying to hold it off all by himself. It's gonna be very difficult, kind of locked up into that spot, and they're doing a sight rotate, throwing all the util, all the flashes.
Crazy.
They're not wasting anything.
It is a full push in as Beware's drops back with the Omen, maybe considering a eco here. More flashes coming in. Yeah, flashes are king, especially in another, because I feel like to your point, Mall was a bit more open, right? A bit more of a longer range map to some degree. We go to Factory, really tight corners, and all of a sudden these flashes are flying in multiple at a time, hitting off of their bounce shots, hitting the back angles. That was a really nice coordinated push in at the end of the day with that flash pistol hatch shoot down in to crack open B. I love to see that coordination.
Yeah, being able to clear out that storage area, I mean, that's basically, you might as well make that the site. I mean, Nightfire. I mean, let's keep it real, right? If you get control of that whole storage area pretty early on, it makes it very easy for you to do site rotates, get some early picks, really set up for the push. So playing really heavy defense there is typically what a lot of those teams do. So if you are able to grab that hatch and just start chucking util down at it, getting some early picks, I mean, it's really going to change the momentum and the swing of that round into your favor. And that's what we saw. We saw it executed very, very well. And that was able, to give them the round in a sweeping 4-1, basically, people advantage.
Getting ready to go into round 3 here now as the eco does come through, and a little bit of a bonus that ends up maybe buying them in for a couple, like to keep the Omen through. You have enough cash then to spend on some utility that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. But it is a low-geared and low-kitted Sunset Ravens squad up against Ragnarok, who, again, led in map 1 early and were looking solid, quite frankly. Now in map 2, lead again. I got to wonder if Sunset Ravens planning maybe just to get a round or two on defense and then have their offensive half look a lot stronger.
Oh no, Desander right there on that window with the whole Ragnarok team just ready to go on in. Can he kill them all? He got one, and there is a TK again coming out from Ragnarok, but they were able to go ahead and get the pick as well. So still a 4v4 situation. But yeah, a little bit of an off-meta push than we typically see, and they can be very, very dangerous. I mean, as we see, we had Scottish Ripper down the bottom that did get one, but did get refragged. And then we still have Mike D10 on the flank, which is going to be very, very dangerous if he's able to go ahead and make the space into there. However, Casey's already into sight with that Vezin, which is going to basically stop the whole connector rotate and really make it really easy for them to get that EMP planted, which they did. Now it's just a game of defense and a little bit of cat and mouse, a lot of bit of crouching around, looking for these last two players. And Mike D10 on the flank did get one. Now we're looking for the rest. Did get taken out by Joshi.
Oh!
And Nova just cleaning up the last one. They did have that gun advantage, and we're basically playing the defense on the offense, right? Just waiting, letting them come to them. They knew the places to look out for, where they had to come. And yeah, was able to go ahead and get those picks and give them another round win. So now we're going into round 4. Again, a little bit more of a economy balance, I would say, on this round, as they're going to go ahead and start buying some more heavy-hitting guns now from Sunset Ravens.
Yep, a little bit more of a balance. Round 4 does mean that they have room where if they lose here, they'll have to kind of like half buy round 5, and then round 6 they'll be able to full buy again. So I think that's the general plan on their eco management here. Maybe just looking again for a round or 2 at the end of the day on offense now at this point, not necessarily anticipating that they could go 3-3. Even if they do win here, Ragnarok are in good shape off of a loss for next round to also be a full buy for them. So Sunset Ravens have it cut out for their work cut out for them. The next few rounds not going to be any easy ones.
Definitely not. I mean, we do see a Cadilla buy. Oh, never mind. Just swapped it out for a hurl from Mike D10. I was getting so excited. I love seeing Cadilla plays. especially when they do work out very well and you're able to, get those picks from head to head. A little bit of an early push in there from this lobby area did get stopped out pretty well. Was able to go ahead and get one refrag, but now they are at a man disadvantage.
Trying to find some shots at the wall. There are a lot of wall banging coming in. His tactical panel holding down B site. Bewares and Mike trying to do a little bit of work on the A site defense. Dissander finds another one through the doorway there. And now it's just down to the duo. Capsay and Potato Sharky in a 2v4. Slowly, I mean, I guess at this point, maybe you definitely don't got eco if you're Ragnarok, but this is looking really good for Sunset Ravens. That instance somehow doesn't catch Capsay, and they just stay tucked into the corner.
Might have been a very good spot to be in as well. If they were to play more aggressive and, push through that doorway, Capsay could have gotten multiple kills, but it does look like they're going to play it safe and swing right back to site, because they do really need all these extra round wins that they could possibly get. It does look like they're going to be fully committed. They are going to be going for the push. Does get stopped out there from Mighty 10, and a wallbane from Bewares does find the head of Capsay. Does stop that push. Lost all its momentum, and they're looking very strong now with their eco, as they only had one death in that round. So this might be the momentum swing that they are needing from Sunset Ravens to hopefully propel them into these next coming rounds before the round switch.
That is huge to be picking up there. That is, like we were saying, the do or die round. So yeah, let's see if now, again, the ability to fold by ends up putting them in a good position. They're going to have a lot of utility. And I think we haven't seen a lot of the clone coming out, but I just saw it picked up twice in place down on Sunset Ravens' end. So maybe they're going to try and bait out flashbangs, try and draw more utility out from this offense, because they're definitely experiencing a lot of utility. And you got to kind of figure out a way, how do you counter all these flashbangs that are ending up, at the end of the day, just making it white for it. We're playing in a white snow laden video. Like, every time I go to FPS perspective, I feel like Sunset Ravens are getting flashed and I'm looking at a white screen. So yeah, it's something that they have to kind of figure out a way to counter.
Exactly. I mean, really, if they just keep buffing all the util, is anything really overpowered if it's all overpowered?
It comes down to execution, man, and that's what I like to see.
I honestly like the games where everything is just like so broken, because then everything's really not broken. Everything's technically balanced. But yeah, we definitely might be seeing a little bit of a meta switch up with these flash grenades. As of recently, it's really been seeing a big Ensign meta. Ensigns have really been controlling sites very heavily, but now imagine having to deal with the Ensign and flash grenades being thrown at you while you're sitting on site. Very dangerous to see. In fact, actually dangerous to not see in that case.
Look at how light A-side defense is here for Sunset Ravens. I think they're going to allow a take almost and then go for the retake maybe, which would be an interesting way to try and catch your opponent out.
Yeah, 2 off-site. I mean, you're going to have to go ahead and make something happen before they get too invested and basically take out all their teammates that are left on site. It would not be very fun to do a 5v2 retake.
Just going to come down to, again, the coordination from this Ragnarok offense. As you see Monkey Josh waiting to push in through the window on the outside. The hatch already open, the wall going to be getting foamed, and they'll look to break that soon enough as well. And then that push, A-site likely to come, but we have seen some big shifts in positioning. A Scottish Ripper catches one up top. That's going to really hurt the overall pressure that they could put onto A, and now they may even completely drop off A.
Yeah, it does look like Casey and Joshy are going to be trying to flush out that person that's up there in lockers, but he's taking his pick and leaving, and they don't know that. It's really going to mess with the mental in their head, thinking, oh, great, I always have to keep a lookout on lockers. He might swing out and get us at any moment, but he's not even there anymore. But they don't know that. And yeah, it's really going to mess with them a little bit, while the rest of them are going to really just be able to hold down the site a lot heavier now. A little trade coming out from both of those teams. I think, yeah, Sunset Ravens can definitely be making these trades right now. They can make these trades all day long because they already have this man advantage. The more trades they make, they're going to be looking better and better in their case. They are going to be starting the EMP plant, trying to go for some points, but he's stuck in the corner.
Oh,
Casey
almost.
One.
That was like, if things had got a little bit worse, that could have been a triple kill for Casey right there, and all of a sudden EMP getting planted into a 1v1. So little crazy, but Sunset Ravens with 3 left alive are in clean control here. Going into round 6, Ragnarok going to be able to full buy. Like I said, rounds 4 and 6, based on their economic management, will put them into a position where they could afford everything they need. And so maybe a chance for Ragnarok to go for 2. Sunset Ravens got their 2 on defense, and I got to wonder what happens on the side swap, Gravy, because the side swap was everything for Sunset Ravens last map also.
Well, hopefully they can make this one work when we did a little bit of a side switch. It is a different map, so maybe they do have a different way of attacking this one. But I don't know. I guess we're going to have to sit around and see. Sit around and wait and find out. But, I mean, coming into this last round here, I mean, they do have the gun advantage as well, so we might be looking at a 3-3 on the switch. And a 3-3 is already... not as good as last map. I mean, they went into it 4-2 and still ended up losing. So if we're following the patterns of the last map, then yeah, probably would not go in their favor. But new map, new everything. So we'll see how they play this. Picks starting off very, very early. I mean, we couldn't even really get into sight and make too much space before 2 players were already taken out.
They
do lose Scottish. But they do lose Joshy and Potato. That is definitely going to hurt. However, Scottish was the leading fragger coming out for Sunset Ravens, so that was a very, very strong pick. Some people could even say this is balanced now, but we'll see how they go ahead and attack this. This is the last round. There is going to be no saving. It looks like they're going to be attacking this from the orange stairs. Not typically a push we see from most teams. You see maybe 1 player coming in from this site as the rest of them drop Tetris, but no, they're going to fully commit all 3 players to the site. And for their defense, looks like they're going to be starting from this side as well. Instant does take out Mike. It turns it even into a 3v3. And now it looks like they're going to be doing a little bit more of a split as they're going to full commit push through Tetris now. All 3 of them.
I like the rotation, but Sunset Ravens reading it as well, dropping back onto site as they should. No need to keep this extended forward defense once they've lost 1 or 2. Tucking back in, a lot easier to hold. A and B, you can alternate real quickly from when you're on site. So much more valuable for them to be there, ready to go, determine it, where this site push is coming from, and then fend it off. As they do foam A site, they do drop off, and it could be a fake for then the B side rotation.
It could be, but they're very set up for both. Whatever happens, they're right there between the connector for both of these sites. So can't really do a whole lot of faking out this team as they are prepared for both for whatever happens. It's really going to come down to execution and gun skill on who gets these picks. But if they do get this EMP planted in A and are able to bait out all the util like right there, that the ensign should have probably been saved for when they hear the EMP getting planted, because they only have 25 seconds left, and now they don't have any more util to bait out this EMP. As Casey's going to slowly go ahead and crouch in there and maybe start this. They do have 1 more ensign. Hopefully they save that for this EMP. There it goes. EMP's out, but it misses.
Oh.
It misses Casey, and it actually blocks out the defenders. They can't get in there and get a kill. And now Capsay and the rest of the team is just bouncing. They're going to go ahead and get on that roof, and that is going to give them a very, very easy round win.
Jeez,
wow.
Sander
Bad
tries
place util saved them.
to push up and fend off the rotation to the roof because they know it's doom once it happens, and Capsay cleans out the final defender, and Ragnarok clean up their offensive half. 4-2. That could have been 3-3 going into the side swap, but a lot like in map 1. They swap sides, we reset economies, and Ragnarok are in the lead 4-2.
Exactly. However, it did that round was just I'm so happy they switched out from going orange stairs. If they were all funneling in through that locker door on orange, I mean, that could have been dangerous. I could have definitely gone the wrong way, but they decided to go ahead and do that little rotation there through Tetris and really take control of that locker area, and that won them the round, honestly. Very good util baiting, waiting for that ensign. But then that second ensign, I think, really threw that round. I think that was the really driving factor of that round we just watched. I mean, if it did land on him, that maybe he wouldn't have gotten the plant off in time and then possibly would have died. Then would have been a 3v2 with EMP down but not planted. That would have been in the favor of them. But no, it missed. They were able to get it down, get on the roof, and now we're looking at a 4-2 game instead.
Fun stuff. EU delivering on their first best of 5 here today. Ragnarok wanting to take, or best of 3, excuse me, not 5. Whew. Best of 3 here today. Ragnarok looking to take this to a third map because they have to. They have to win here. If they lose and Sunset Ravens bounce back and take this map, it's done. We don't play a third, obviously, and move on to Acer EU versus Underdogs. Quite literally the Underdogs qualifying into the Challenger Cup.
We do see a very common push here as they're going to try to take control of storage. We have 2 people on the stairs this time, Bewares and Mike. Let's see if they can catch Casey off guard. Flash coming through. Does get taken out. Double kill with the trip mine. Very strong defensive hold of the storage space. Utility really putting in the work. Casey chasing down Bewares on the stairs. Does take him out. There is a team kill that did come out. Does not matter. It is still a 3v1 all up to Scottish Ripper with a Taurus. He is going to go ahead and do a little bit of a site rotation onto A. Trying to make something work here.
Oh, he needed that headshot.
No.
Needed that headshot to open things up. I was going to say, if there's ever a weapon to do it with, the Taurus is one to clutch a 1v3. You know, you pop the heads and you find your way through. But, yeah, you got to start with headshots. And missing over the shoulder there, it's Ragnarok 5-2, and this is a little different than map 1.
High risk, high reward weapon for sure. And, yeah, this is looking very, very, very different. The economy is going to be looking not in the favor right now of Sunset Ravens. They really cannot afford to lose another round. Otherwise, you are going to have to fight your way all the way through to get into overtime, which is not where anyone wants to be.
Yeah.
However, I do see
how much
of a lead that we have, though. Looks like we have a Eurocon coming out from Casey that did get a bit of a buff this last update. It's more of like I hear a long range, like semi-auto, like a rifle, like a Cadillo almost.
Oh my!
But it's a shotgun. So maybe it just takes a little bit of time for people to get warmed up to it, and maybe some clips to be circulating around and stuff. But I heard some good things about it. But I would love to see it to these official matches, these official play styles. Just imagine a full team rocking these Eurocons and actually dominating and winning. It'd be pretty awesome to see.
We will have to find out if it ends up finding any kills this round, as already a nade catches Joshi to half HP. Not exactly what they need on their defensive side opening, and exactly what Sunset Ravens are hoping for. A little bit of damage done. Only a health syringe is required, but it does force Joshi to rotate off their defensive angle to go get that health syringe from their teammate, and it allows for this hatch drop to even happen as Tactical Pan drops in. Casey Nova. This is the first shot. Tactical Pan low HP. Nearly chunked all the way down. Casey Nova catches one.
Oh, I was waiting for him to swing around that corner and just go to town with that Eurocon on the rest of the team. But a trade for trade isn't that bad. Bewares does pick up the Eurocon, though. Never mind, did drop it. Back against the Omen. The whole team is just pushing into this B site, though.
Yeah, it's really nice. Instants are
Look at the YouTube placement. I mean, the floor is lava. I mean, it's not a square inch of this entire B site that is not covered in lava right now.
EMP can't keep
Nate
playing it.
Out. Does take some damage, but they have not started this EMP plant.
Oh!
In fact, Bewares is going to be pushing in with that Eurocon, and as you see there, Nightfire getting one in the connector and then just sniping the second guy. Crazy damage on that thing. They reduced the spread of it, so it's not much of like an actual shotgun spread. It's more of like it shoots slugs almost, I feel, is what I'm hearing.
Bewares enjoyed it for a double kill, which we'll look at again. I mean, that was a really good... That was crazy. The floor was lava. That was great zoning initially on the push from Sunset Ravens, where they managed to crash into B site, and as soon as they did, the instant comes out to the back line to stop one entry. The instant comes out to the doorway to stop another. The defense gets some instants out to stop the plant, and everyone's just kind of standing there in a I can't move anywhere sort of moment. And then finally, once those instants dissipate, everyone kind of starts to slowly crash in as the instants fade and lines of attack open up, and suddenly you see again the opportunity for the nade to come in. The double kill again we'll highlight with that Urcon getting scooped up. And that's the risk of buying into a weapon like that and playing your front line. If you lose and you die, you're giving the gun to your enemy. That gun that you gave to your enemy ended up winning them the round.
I mean, with the Eurocon, I mean, I guess so. I'm excited. I hope that gun gets used so much more. I mean, it sounds awesome. There's awesome skins for it too. Triangle Factor really cooks with the skins with that, and it just wasn't getting any love. So I hope it gets a little bit more love. I said it is a awesome sounding gun. It does look a little funny. It is really big, really funky, but you know the plays, the kills, and hopefully it gets utilized a little bit more. We do see a little bit of a jump out here for Potato and gets goofed up very quickly by Bewares. Not too sure what the play was there. Probably trying to rotate quickly back to site. But, I mean, that's a very dangerous spot to be in, as most of the team on offense is going to be around in that area, as they were.
I mean,
now we're looking at a 5v3 very early on. Oh, okay. No, this is a Jesper save. I didn't even look at the...
Yeah, I was going to say...
What they purchased.
I think
they don't care.
I think we were looking at maybe like a off-meta send-it sort of move there, where they're just looking to get, you know, a kill or two of someone on a vault or halfway on the wall and not ready for it, but it doesn't really work that way as instants come in here. Yeah, it's going to be Monkey Josh rotating off, and yeah, Ragnarok are keeping every dollar they have to then go into this next round with the full buy, because they just are not feeling good in this moment where they're down. And yeah, the flawless comes in pretty easy, but they need to be back into it faster than they were last round. They can't allow Sunset Ravens to kind of keep piling on like they did in map 1, because that's how they ended up winning map 1.
Exactly. Now we're starting to see the caster's curse, right? The 5-2 comeback. And if they do come back from that, I mean, we're going to be looking just like we did in Mall, right? They had this huge advantage, and then just the momentum just fell off, and Sunset Ravens just started going on a win streak. But you know, hopefully with that save there, hopefully it's beneficial going into this round, and that's exactly what they needed, because yeah, it's either this round or whoever takes that is going to be looking very, very good. Be looking at a 5-5 if Sunset Ravens does prevail and win this one as well.
Shout out to everyone tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying the action. Please hit the sub button if you are new here. And if you are new and you have hit the sub button, maybe you're coming in from Orion Drift or Vale or Pavlov or any one of the other games that we've been broadcasting on the network, we do appreciate you. This is, of course, what we do here at the VRML. We have multiple seasons and multiple games with prize pools across multiple leagues. So if you're interested, you can always sign up and register when a new season starts. And maybe you'll be cast next on the network in one of your favorite VR games. But diving into this last round now as the windows cracked open. Joshi on a very forward initial position there. Tries to catch the wall bang there on Mike D10, but Mike tucks in and is safe for now.
Looks like a little bit of a split up push. All the teammates are pretty spread out. Looks like they're just getting situated and set up here for this locker take. Looks like they're set up for an A push this time, as last time it was a B, and B did work out pretty successful.
Double static emitter down here on A. So going to try and slow down the advancement onto this site in a big way, and there's really not a lot of B stacked up defense here. They're anticipating this move in, which is a full force send from Sunset Ravens. The flash is coming in. Dysander barreling through, scoops up one, looks for more, and picks up a second. A wonderful double kill as nades and now counter utility come flying in. Dysander finds a slice of a tile that's not on fire and survives, while Scottish Ripper rips through the smokes for a kill.
DeSantis is in a very nice spot, even with that smoke grenade as well, and is able to actually get a plant off. He did have EMP as well. So now you're looking at a 4v2, but look at the health advantage as well. I mean, they're all literally a tickle away from dying. Shot in the pinky toe. They will be out of commission, but they do have that plant advantage. And he still takes out Casey Nova and swings out and gets another one. DeSander with the 4K this round. One more would have been an ace. Beautifully played. I mean, the way they just threw this really is a flash meta, Nightfire. I mean, they just threw some flashes in there, threw some smokes, and just sprinted in there. Completely caught him off guard and just took any picks that they could find.
It's it reminds me of when the first time in Onward, when flashes were buffed, and all of a sudden the game and the pace kind of changed. I know it's like a throwback, literally maybe 6 years ago is when it would happen, but I anticipated it, and right as I initially saw teams using it, I thought this is going to become something that everyone's going to use. Everyone's going to be flashing corners. It's going to be a lot faster pace on shorter maps, and we're seeing that now develop in Breachers very clearly with these flashbangs being buffed, especially with the slow. It's really a powerful tool that is just being utilized to perfection in a lot of ways here on these pushes. It's as if they've been waiting to use flashbangs this way, but haven't had the utility buffed enough to do it. And now with Sunset Ravens pushing in here with this sort of speed, it just looks so coordinated and practiced.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those flash grenades also give a little bit of a sound hit indicator when they do hit an enemy.
Oh,
so,
geez.
I mean, you don't even need to even use a drone in some areas. Where if you don't have one, you just throw a flashbang in there. If you get a little indicator, oh, someone's in there.
I think the same goes for that instant that Casey that Beware's just threw. They did get a toe of Casey there. So everyone's dialed in, and there's another flash, and Mike with another kill. Potato, Sharky cuts it down, but on the back line, Mike scoops up another, and we trade back and forth into a 3v3 with Sunset Ravens at a slight HP disadvantage.
Mike D10 able to go ahead and find those refrags that they desperately needed to go ahead and turn this back into a fair fight. I would say fair fight, but I mean if we're looking at the gun advantage here, 3 Vesens versus a couple of SMGs, not gonna be the best situation to be in if I was Ragnarok. They are gonna be really tucked into sight here as well. It's going to be a little bit of a hard, tough take, but the Trips does find Bewares, turning this into a 2v3. That is definitely an advantage that they're going to need.
Yeah, that does sting. Bewares did get healed up there, so they weren't a low HP non-necessity. So down to a 2v3 here. Everyone locked in on A site with foam down on the wall. I think the Sunset Ravens team is going to take this challenge. They're going to look for the fight here. And that's a good instant on the back line. It zones Joshy out. Tactical Pam vaults in, but takes huge damage from Capsay, who's tucked in behind the site. Monkey swings out, catches one. Mike shuts that double down, looks for more. They know there's one behind the defense. They have time. EMP getting baited out. They're trying to force this defense to push them.
Does he have even time on the clock to go ahead and wait for his health syringe? He does. It is going to go ahead and go back up. He does still have gun advantage, but they are sitting in a nice spot. EMP is not planted. He's going to go ahead and crouch into sight, though. Take some space.
My.
Wasn't able to plan out one. And take out the one behind the bomb. That is an ace from Mike D10.
Come on,
wow.
Mike. What a huge clutch. This is why you tune into the postseason, the single elimination top 8 bracket, where if Sunset Ravens take the next round, they are going to eliminate Ragnarok EU from the season and have their season be over. And Sunset Ravens will advance on to the semis.
Ragnarok definitely putting up a way better fight than the last time they played officially. I mean, coming down, nail biting to the last, almost overtime. I mean, 5 rounds is still very, very close. They are putting up quite the fight and winning some very crucial rounds. But this is it. This is it, Nightfire. I mean, you can't lose this round.
So crazy on that clutch to be pulling that off in a moment where I guess you can, right? If you're Sunset Ravens, you're feeling loose, you've got to map up. You're not too worried about losing the map, so why not try and go in for some big plays, the 2v3 challenge, look for that big clutch and see if you can scoop it up, and lo and behold, I can't. That was huge. That was and they got all the info they needed. They read Capsay's location behind that site very early in that initial push, and to shut down the swing through that hole in the wall, that was the do or die moment where it could have been Ragnarok 6-5 instead.
Looks like they are trying to go ahead and... Oh, the instant taking a ton of damage onto those defenders. Capsy and Josh super, super low on HP now. They are going to have to rotate back and use those health syringes to get back up to full, but that is going to go ahead and open up some space here, as they only have 2 defenders now in that storage area as they're coming back out. They're coming back out. They're going to go ahead and contest this space. Nade coming out does take Casey super low. Instant does finish off the job, but the nade does not. Monkey does go ahead and swing the corner. Does find one, but does get taken out by Desander. Desander with 2 picks already early off into this round. Does get taken out by Capsay, who was super low on HP. It is a 2v3 now. Instant's taking out a lot of damage on Bewares and a couple of bullet shots. And Scottish is super low now. Joshy finding the wallbane. It's all up to Scottish Ripper now in a 1v3 with 2 HP, stuck in the corner. What do you do in this situation, I fire?
Yeah, well, you get ready to go to overtime is what you do. You talk with your team. You say, how are we going to strategize? What's our plan? We're going to look at overall scores, and it doesn't, I mean, pretty dang close, but it is going to go to Sunset Ravens, so they'll be able to choose side going into this overtime. And
do they pick offense? I mean, that's where they got most of the rounds, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes sense, but maybe they're feeling like they want to lock in a defensive round with all the utility and all of their kits and everything they have in their arsenal. And they're going to go defend the middle objective against Ragnarok for our overtime round in map 2. Surprised we're here, Gravy. I mean, Ragnarok, like you said, stepping up their game in these late stages and avoiding what happened, well, for now at least, the fate of map 1. They have to win here. We go on to a map 3. Otherwise, map 2, and we are ready for our next series.
We really got to make this one count here. I'm really concerned and confused on what kind of push we're going to see here, because if you don't see this from most teams, as they're going to be, looks like rappelling down and going on to the other site. We might see a B take, which isn't as common. Yeah, it does look like it's going to be a B take as they're going down blue stairs with the drone as well. Ooh. And yeah, Bewares was able to go ahead and call out that drone as well. So now the whole team is going to be ready for this the stair retake, which is a very scary place to be. Mike D10 already on that flanking area.
Oh, and they both vaulted in now. Mike's going to have an opportunity for multiple kills, but they'll only take one and dip back. Not what Ragnarok need.
Play it safe and yeah, really mess with the head of that offensive team. So now they're going to go ahead and think Mike D10 might still be up there, but really he's going to go ahead and bank his kill and rotate all the way around in the back.
Yeah, and this B-site push now certainly known as the audio transmitter gave away this position. The foam's still coming down. They are still adamant on making this push a reality, and they don't care if it's something that this defense is ready and waiting for, as Desander and Tactical Pan set up inside the immediacy of B, ready for that push to happen.
It's a very tough site to take. Not really a fan favorite from a lot of teams. Let's see if they're able to go ahead and make this work with the 4v5 disadvantage. As they're all getting all set up. They do have the foam on the wall. They do have the door blocker broke. Nade coming out does really take Joshy down to really low HP. Does have a stim to go ahead and boost himself back up. Walls are coming down. Ensigns are getting thrown out. Ensign does find Desander there in the connector. Tactical Pan and Mikey 10 finding two of their own.
An absolute brawl here as Joshy picks up Tactical Pan, a key killer, but Mike D10 also a key killer, and on the back line, Beware scoops up Monkey Josh, and Sunset Ravens are going to take... No. Yeah, Sunset Ravens, sorry, the scoreboard's messed up, are going to take the map and be our first top 8 single elimination champions. They will advance on to the semifinals next weekend, or no, yes, next weekend, and we'll see them on Saturday up against the winner of our next matchup, which will be Acer EU and Underdogs. And Gravy, I got to get your perspective, how you're feeling here. We'll see if we can update those scores so they are accurate. We do apologize for that. As there we go, 7-6 Sunset Ravens. A fantastic opener on the EU side at the very least.
Absolutely, very very close. Definitely something a lot better for the viewers to watch. I mean, if we saw like what we saw when they first played, right, a 14-3 happening super quick. Probably wouldn't be as nail biting, but we were able to go ahead and go basically the full length both of these maps of Mall and Factory, and they gave a great performance on both. Really awesome highlights from multiple of these players. Give a little shout out there to Mike D10, especially on this map, being able to pull off that amazing clutch ace. Last map as well, probably to going to Joshy. Joshy pulling out a lot of awesome kills there as well. Nice little clutch scenarios. But overall, both these teams really being able to go ahead and put in the work and pull their efforts to really make it a really close game here for the viewers. And hopefully we're able to go ahead and see some more of that action as well, especially next season and still this season as well for Sunset Ravens. See if they can go ahead and keep this momentum drive going when they play the winner of this next match that we have, which is going to be Acer EU and Underdogs.
Yeah.
And Underdogs is definitely going to be that name is really going to play into factor here as the CC winner versus the number 1 seed. So, I mean, we couldn't have picked a better team to play them, right?
No, it's really in the name. Qualifying in at that 8th position on the regular season ladder too, and then breaking through, like you said, the Challenger Cup. Doesn't get more of a storied than that. If they beat Acer EU, it'll be maybe one of the bigger upsets in EU VRML Breachers history. So it's going to be an interesting game. We'll see what they can do against a team like Acer EU. And that'll be maybe 10, 15 minutes. But for now, hats off to Ragnarok EU. Their season is over, and we appreciate their participation in the VRML. At the very least, maybe they come away with a pretty sweet skin, which we haven't teased or shown yet, but eventually that'll be something that they can look forward to. So congratulations to the Sunset Ravens, and adios to Ragnarok EU. But that'll be it for us on this series. Like I said, we've got another one in 5 or 10 minutes, so we're going to take a quick break, let our voice rest, and get ready for another best of 3. So stick around, don't go anywhere. More EU action, and then NA later today at 3 p.m. PST, alongside the NA Ignition Cup for Orion Drift at 2 p.m. PST. So a lot of content on the network to look forward to. Stick around, don't go anywhere. More EU top 8 single elim coming up.
Prepare to start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Excellent.
guys all waiting. We are all here in the lobby, ready to rock and roll versus Acer EU and Underdogs. How do you feel coming into this next matchup here, Nightfire?
I'm excited for another best of 3, our first one in this top 8 single elimination bracket tournament, going the way of, well, I already forgot who won. But Ragnarok losing their season over with, and now we'll have another loser here today. Someone going to have their season finished. Acer EU, a dominant team in the regular season. If we look at the matchup history, 9-3, going up against the Underdogs, quite literally the Underdogs, 6-1 on the regular season. And I think a lot of folks leaning into Acer EU taking this one this afternoon, but we'll go ahead and give the players the ready up as we do have them all in lobby, and we'll dive in to find out soon enough. Map 1 is already chosen. It looks like we are going to be heading into Hideout, so no unfamiliar territory like Mall or Dam to kick things off right out the gate, but maybe that's somewhere we could be heading to for map number 2. So we'll have to see, as we do have a disconnect, I think. So maybe we are going to be waiting a little bit more until we do jump in to that lobby, but yeah, for now we do appreciate everyone tuning in, hanging out, and patiently waiting for us to get into the action. We of course understand that you all want to see that sweet Breachers VRML competitive esport action, and we do appreciate you tuning in. And if you are new, hit that sub button. But sometimes we're relating to the teams, and it does look like we have started. Acer EU versus Underdogs. Map number 1 on Hideout. What are your thoughts, Gravy?
Not a whole lot right now, Nightfire. Hideout, I don't think we're not going to see anything special in terms of anything new. We've seen this map again. It's like the factory. It's like peanut butter and jelly, right? I mean, it's a very, very common map with the same very commonly picked map and the same very common pushes that we see from time and time again. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different now is how they're going to go ahead and take these sites with the flash being buffed. I mean, taking this this garage site is going to be like a lot easier.
Yeah.
I would say, in like my opinion, right? Just throw open the wall and just throw all the util back there. I mean, you're bound to flash somebody.
Every map really is going to be, I mean, should be played a lot differently with this utility buff, because, yeah, to your point, going to open up a lot of options for slowing down and disabling defense that would normally just be able to hold lines of sight and prevent anyone from pushing in. So utility always been king, though, at the high tier, and I think it will continue to be in this series.
I personally think now the meta is to probably play like 1 or 2 people off site, bait out as much util as they possibly can to go ahead and flush out those 2 players, and try to stay alive and rotate back to site with the rest of your team. So if you have your whole team still alive on site, with the attacking team not having any more util because you baited it all out. And then, if you still have some util of your own, throwing it back at the attacking team to go ahead and stop their push might be the move. And we see again, this util usage here with these instants just really covering the entire floor, and Tab's going to go ahead and get 2 picks very early on this attacking team. It's all up to Fadai to go ahead and do this 1v4 clutch against Acer EU.
Not easy.
He's got 2 flashes. This is anybody's game, right?
You're right. Very possible. He could have picked up a couple of easy kills with those flashes if they connect. But also, they got to connect, and I don't think that'll be the easy thing. I think that'll be the challenging part here, as this defense is spread and on the front line waiting for Fat Eye to do something here. But take a couple of shots down through the garage and give away their position. We may see Acer EU get really aggressive or play a little bit more conservative. His first round, they don't want to quite go all in, and that first flashbang of 2 comes out but doesn't connect. Zadia scoops up that kill. And Acer EU in control out the gate with their pistol opener, as we sort of anticipate here in this series.
Yep, going into this next round, we do have a top site, which again, with these new flashbangs, I'm curious to see how these are going to be utilized. You see them being purchased out as well. You don't ever really see. We never saw flashbangs be really purchased a whole lot. I'm going to be honest. Like throughout the whole season,
seriously,
it's mostly just
almost
incense and grenades. Like every time.
Not at all. And I guess now you really invest in them on defense too, because they certainly can be used as a great counter push or stall tool, especially for flashbang or for plant interrupts.
Well, would be super awesome.
Oh, you can't.
If the
Bury them.
defense
Yeah,
could
yeah,
use
you're right,
them.
you're right.
They cannot use flashbangs, so it's quite unfortunate. Would be pretty nice. I've always been thinking like, what if like defense can use like defensive like breaching foam, you know, right? Like blow the wall open on defense, you know, catch them by surprise. You know, like surprise.
I guess I've just seen. I mean, maybe it's a priority if you can down an early player on offense. That if you're on defense, you try and scoop up their flashbangs, because definitely will be something that.
I don't even think it allows you to pick those up.
Really?
It's kind of it even acts like a cloak.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't pick up the cloaks and stuff. It just sits on there on the floor. But very early pick here from Tabs, being able to go ahead and take out one of their players, leaving it into a 5v4. This team is struggling to go ahead and take some space into sight. Looks very spread out here, but it does look like they're eventually going to be doing a lounge push as they get set up here. And this Acer team is going to go ahead and looks like they're going to be playing a heavy site.
Underdogs. Yeah, stacking up for that A as they open it up. The Ensign sitting on the ground, getting pinged by their teammates, but not getting utilized just yet. As a flashbang around the backside, a nice nade catches Terrence out wonderfully. That Ensign bot ends up preventing them from going in, and now no way for them to break through on A site.
On both sides too. You really gotta just wait that one out. Did they nerf the time on the instance? They must have in the last update. Those are going away very quickly now.
I know they did in the one before this by 2 seconds, I think. I think it was down from 10 to 8.
So I remember at one point they had it kind of ridiculously set at like 15 seconds, which can just like absolutely stop any push for like the longest of time, especially if you're playing for the time, the long game.
We're both showing our lack of time in game this afternoon, but a nice nade coming in, and what a kill from Tabs over the top. Fat Eye on the background, and VR Zadia pushing in here. Static emitter still down. No one really gonna be able to crash back through as Zadia pushes in. Fat Eye holding through the smoke, catches Tabs in the smoke. No EMP defuse coming in just yet as Fat Eye tries to swing for more, but can't quite find it. Sparks able to pick up Pixel Player on the back end, but now the EMP getting defused, and Sparks not able to see through that smoke on the EMP defuse as Zadia scoops up the final kill, and Acer EU coming down to 2, but still taking the round.
Yeah, not a whole lot you could really do in that situation when you have one person holding the defuse while the other person goes ahead and just sticks it. I mean, you're low HP, kind of far back as well. It's not a very easy situation to be in. Maybe if you're on the window, might be a little bit easier of a pick if you had more of like a long range weapon, but really, really got to aim and hit those very crucial headshots when you're rocking with the Omen there. Now we see a first floor, or I guess floor 0, if you want to count this as floor 0, site this time, as we've gotten a little bit of every site so far. And this one, same thing probably. I mean, it's mostly going to be who can take control of the storage area first, with all of these all the util usage and flash grenades, and see if they can go ahead and take that much needed space. Otherwise, I mean, I could probably see this going, again in the favor of Acer EU if they were able to go ahead and shut it off before they could even enter. Looks like they're investing very heavy in this utility, with all of these different trip mines and static field emitters. Really going to make it a very difficult time for these Underdogs, especially when they don't have the eco advantage that they are most desperately needing.
Oof, an opening kill there from Zaida, scoops up a nice headshot on the Rising Survivor. That'll be a rifle down, but quickly transferred over to a teammate to utilize. So, yeah, we can see it getting tossed from between 3 players there to finally get it up to somebody up top. The swing coming in. Cadillo trying to catch Terrence out, but Terrence holding things down on this top floor. Bit of a threat. They have Pixel Player on the backside to also defend the garage push. So a bit of work here as Casper recognizes the danger they're in and hucks the EMP that they were holding out the window so that their team has a chance if they want to grab it, but everyone else gets killed. And Sparks, with the rifle in hand, says, I'm going to go to the top floor where nobody can get me. And tucks in to wait out what is going to be a 1.5-minute round, I'm assuming, as they'll eco and try and carry through some of their investment to the next round, but it's going to be essentially a flawless W coming in here from the Acer EU squad in round 3. And yeah, I think at this stage we could very well see the 7-0 map 1 and 2. I mean, Acer EU is looking good, but it's the opening rounds here, and Underdog have challenged Acer EU round before, so you know, maybe a little bit more fully equipped, different objective, who knows, but that was a powerful defensive hold from the Acer squad.
Exactly. Those very early picks really stopped their momentum. Before they were even to build up any momentum, they were not able to go ahead and take control of storage or even get into storage. And then, you know, upstairs as well, really challenging the two people that were playing off-site. Did not necessarily go as well either. Did not find the picks that they needed. So you really have to deal with, the pressure from people up top, down below, not taking space. All these different factors adding up is not going to be going in the favor of your team. At least you're able to go ahead and, scoop up a pheasant out of that and, get one save in. So hopefully they'll go ahead and have a little bit more economy better going into this next round. I could say the same thing for Acer, as they only had 3 pheasants, but they might be looking even better going into this next round, as they go ahead and have a little bit more firepower. It's going to be more difficult, but it depends really on what site we get and how well they can use their utility and how well they play together, or if they're doing some pinches and some sight. But we're already losing a player as well coming out from Underdogs as well. Yeah. We got bot Bruno, and now's not the best time to lose a player as well, because this is where you're purchasing your gun.
There we go.
Okay, we do see a reconnect. Nice. Very close. Good timing.
Yeah, no kidding. They got 40 seconds left to repair, get the right guns they want, and yeah, this will be, like you said, the full buy round. This is the do or die. No, not do or die necessarily, but a big round for Underdogs. They're going with their full investment. This is what they've been ecoing for, essentially, and partial buying into. So, see if they can do anything with this kit. But in comparison, also, obviously, the Acer EU squad, all fully kitted with all the utility. We'll see a lot of Ensign, static emitters, everything coming down here. I wonder if Underdogs are going to lean into the flashes as much, because now with rifles and a familiar utility, they may go back to what they've been practicing with essentially all season long.
We do see another top site this time. Let's see if they're able to go ahead and take some space. And they come down pretty close. This was probably the closest site as Underdogs have gotten so far during this match. Did come down to having the plant actually down. Even with some missed util, they still were able to get the plant down and bring it down to a 1v2. I think at one point it was even a 2v2. See if they can bring that same momentum into this one as well and just stick with what's working. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go for that A. They are going to be taking some damage through the walls. Does look like it's a little bit of a split push. Their team looks very spread out right now, Nightfire. We do see Rising Survivor is actually able to go ahead and take out a pick there on Terrence. So they might be thinking this might be a B push, but you still have people like Jed over there on A as well.
Yeah, and they need to crack open the B-side wall to really have a good idea of pushing in. But A-side super weak now. Audio transmitter giving away this position, giving away the play, but they made their way inside and nobody's home to defend. So flashbangs and Sins come out to zone this team. Another flashbang comes out and it stops the push from coming through. Enough for the EMP to be planted. No counter utility over the top. Acer EU on the retake in a slight disadvantage into a 2v3 now as Casper and Sparks have to hold things off.
They were able to go ahead and get that plant down. Let's see if they're able to go ahead and buy enough time. Tabs is on the back end with full HP. Could be very troublesome for Casper and Sparks. And the Ensign does find Casper in that corner. And Tabs does find the last one on the stairs as they're able to go ahead and get that EMP defused. Tough situation. However, they do have that loss, what do they call that? Eco, when you keep losing more rounds, you get more economy. So they do have that in the in the bag for them, I guess. But you also planted the EMP, so I mean that's some money right there as well. So
Yeah.
as we can see, we see lots of Vezins still coming out from this underdog team. Well, I mean,
I like
got
the
one.
play too. I like the I like the effort there coming in from them too. That last round, a really solid job. Again, getting into that zone and ultimately shifting from B to A and kind of baiting Acer out. Acer EU getting drawn in to that B side push so heavily, so convinced that the team was going to send it there, but then ultimately it gets switched up. It's got to make me wonder if maybe Acer EU gonna try and respect the divide a little bit more here going into these future rounds, and maybe that opens up an opportunity for a full stack to one side, maybe an A side push, but they could get in for another EMP plant. But we'll have to see.
Like they threw the flash in the connector, but if that was an Incid instead, probably would have gone a little bit different.
Right.
But they also were dying to wallbanes. There we saw an instant kill there too when he was in the corner. I mean, just really bad timing and spots to be in. And Acer has really been just taking advantage of that and getting all those extra little kills that they need. I mean, even the smallest player advantage is already very, very huge. And then, so right now, like Pixel player playing a little bit off site into the A site, able to take out that drone very, very early and been able to notify his team, okay, I just killed a drone here in A site, a little bit off of A site, and he's going to go ahead and let his teammates know. So now Wallbane will is, of course, going to come help him out here in A site. And you can see this team is just doing so many wallbanes, just stopping the pressure. And you can see one already coming up from Pixel player on the Casper, really just stopping the momentum of this underdog team. And they can't get anything going for themselves. I mean, Terrence is there in that hallway, stopping before they even get the foam down the wall. That's EMP and foam in that hallway.
Nice little refight there from Sparks, because put at least one kill on the board for the underdogs. Maybe they can grab some utility out here. As for that, Bad Eye tries to catch one inside A side, and yeah, again, a good rotation from Acer to catch and cover their ground, but a strong rotation to A side that's left B open. If they had the ability to swing around, they might find them some opportunities. As Wallbang Will catches the headshot. Bad Eye hoping they had hit that flashbang there, but they hadn't. And now Sparks alone with utility and rifle in hand. Do you think another 1 minute of eco coming in here?
All left up to Sparks, and we might be seeing another save coming into this last round. Saving a Vezin to hopefully maybe purchase more Vezins going into this next round. So we get to have a little bit more firepower, see if they can get one round on the board before the switch. I would say, switching to defense might be what they need. However, I mean, this map is very, very heavy on both offense and defense. That's why it's more of a fan favorite. Does not matter necessarily what side you're playing on. I see a lot of rounds being won on both sides.
Curious to see how that side swap will impact underdogs. Maybe the defensive portion will be a little bit more condensed, but I got to imagine Acer EU definitely going to be a team that'll lean pretty heavily into those flashbangs, so you can anticipate seeing a lot of them coming through when we do get to that side swap after round 6 finishes here. But round 5 going to go the way of Acer, and Underdogs going to carry through a rifle to the next round, and I think that'll get them enough to be maybe 4 out of 5 equipped with one buying utility. So it might be... Oh, yeah, they got plenty. They're on the other 6. Yeah, so they can full buy here regardless, because they have that 6th round loss bonus coming in. So another opportunity for Underdogs to try to put one on the board.
Absolutely. And if you are just tuning into the chat, we are watching Acer EU versus Underdogs, CC versus number 1 seed. Thank you all for joining us, especially if you're coming from other games as well. We're going to be having a lot more casts happening all throughout the week. Got lots of Orion Drift, lots of Breachers, lots of different things going on, so stay tuned. And we see here a little, you got a little call out there for you, Nightfire. Whoever is on the cams, you are goated. So good job on those cams, my guy.
Yeah, well, I've been just doing some fly.
Doing it for a little bit.
Just doing some fly arounds, and we've had these keep myself entertained, I suppose, while we wait for these 2 minute saves that have been coming in. But appreciate it. Yeah, we do appreciate it. Into Round 6 we go, though, the last round, and look at this push coming in. Pixel player getting pressure, going to throw smoke to their backside so they can focus on the front.
We do see a little bit of an entrance here through Piano. That's typically something we don't see from a lot of these players, and I think VR Zeta might be able to go ahead and get some very early picks. No, in this case, just gets the drone and then rotates a little bit back. Still playing that same doorway, though. We see if we can see some early picks. Does take a little bit of damage and does rotate back. Pixel player does find one and does get refragged.
Yeah, nice pickup by Caspar. They'll throw the foam down onto A site. Terrence and Wallbang will be the two main on-site defenders. They're going to wait for tabs on a big flank right now as Utility and Instance come out to slow down this offense. Where is tabs on that top floor? They need to come down the stairs and be hitting this flank. The GED and Sparks are held up. Zeta catches Caspar, but Underdogs with the site basically open for them at A. They have the opportunity to push in here.
1 HP from Zeta, does find a stem and rotates back. I think they're really heavily enforcing on these flanks here. I think they're going to go ahead and shoot him from the backside as they're basically leaving Terrence alone on site to go ahead and defend that. Tabs also on the flank on the opposite side. I mean, they're going to be pinching these players from multiple different angles as Tabs does find one.
Oh.
And Wallbane Will finds another one on the other side. Ooh. Sparks finding 2 of them, though. Getting Terrence and Tabs. Does get refragged up by Zeta, though, and gives them the overall win of that round. I mean, we haven't seen this from even the last match. I mean, Acer is just so relaxed with how they have their players all spread out. I mean, the confidence in these players of just by themselves, essentially. And to go ahead and play on opposite sides of the map and still be okay.
Yeah, seriously. It's a lot of trust, a lot of time together, a lot of teamwork and coordination that's been, again, something they've shown all season long, only losing 3 times over the course of the regular season, which was 12 weeks of gameplay. So an impressive record for them to have come across with, and it's a team that in the past has gone undefeated in regular seasons. So they've got experience winning at the high level, and now are no strangers to even winning in the postseason, as they look at potentially map point, the danger stage for Underdogs here in this early map, where if they lose this pistol round, they have no more opportunity to bounce back, and we move on to map 2.
Yeah, we could probably see Acer probably with tons of confidence already being up 6-0, probably just going to sprint in there if that was my guess. Just getting as many picks as they can possibly find, as they already do find a very early pick. Looks like they're actually going to play the time a little bit slower, and they're going to be opening stuff up and really droning out and looking and taking some space. But this time, they're going for hatches. They're taking some hatch space. And they're using the drone to really clear out storage, as they already identified where the trips are and looking for players. Pixel player finding Jed right there on the wall. They are going to go ahead and drop the hatch.
I caught one, but only one. Sparks able to pick up Pixel. Terrence goes down. Underdogs fending off the Acer EU breach as Tabs is here against the likes of now just Caspar, as Zeta catches the kill over the top.
They identified where the last player is, so they know he either has to come from Connector or Waterfall, and they have the EMP plant. So, I mean, it's really a 2v1 and not a very good position to be in, because, yeah, you're either going to be coming from those 2 spots right there, Connector or Waterfall. And I think their bet is going to be Waterfall, as Zeta is set up and ready for that. Does find the headshots onto Casper and gives Acer their 7-0 win over Underdogs on Hideout.
Clean opening map, and again, I think if you were to ask for predictions, folks would say Acer EU definitely going to come out with 2 maps out of this best of 3, but I was happy to see Underdogs at least chipping away at Acer EU. You know, you look at the KDs there, you see Sparks with 6 coming out there leading the team. Zeta with 10 into the double digits, with Acer EU winning map 1 7-0. I got to wonder what map 2 is going to deliver to us. Are we going to see, you know, maybe a mall, a dam, something that's a little bit more unique gravy, and maybe that will be what you know, we end up gets rounds to Underdogs just because they're able to throw Acer EU off. But I don't really know there's anything you can do to throw Acer EU off. You know, again, you look at their matchup history and their win record, and even on a new map like Dam, they have a 71% win rate. So if anything, they're a team that takes something that's new into the season and tries to make it their expertise.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some teams that do that. I'm curious to see if Underdogs is that team that will be doing that. They definitely need something to work out for them, because obviously, I mean, Hideout's been picked time and time again, regardless of what team you're on. Every single player on any of these top teams have played that map countless amounts of times. So that's not going to fool anybody. I mean, that map is literally just going to come down to gunplay and execution. That's it. At least on these different newer maps and stuff that have a little bit less playtime on from most of these teams. You know, you haven't built that chemistry yet with the team to know where people like to play, or what sites are the best ones to push, or just multiple different factors that can go into that.
End of the day, though, a exciting couple of matchups for EU, and again, like we've been saying, there's more on the network this afternoon. NA Ignition Cup starts at 2 p.m. PST. You'll see me over there. And then NA Top 8 Single Elim starts here for Breachers at 3 p.m. PST. You'll see Martini jumping in and hosting for that. So multiple streams to tune into over the course of the rest of today. And then again tomorrow, we'll jump back into EU Top 8. We have 2 more games like we've been talking about. And yeah, it is this weekend, the top 8, then next weekend, semifinals on Saturday, and Sunday is the third place and finals for the season. So even after this weekend, we still have more ahead of us for Breachers. And then if we have enough teams register up for the VRML Con Phoenix Invitational Qualifier, for a lot of these games, we'll have a bunch of online qualifier tournaments that determine what teams are going to be going to VRML Con and playing. So there's a lot of content left ahead of us this month, and then obviously with VRML Con July 25th to the 27th, that will all be broadcast here as well. So you'll get to see the live in-person event, probably the best produced one we'll have done yet, and again, maybe even the most attended. So you're not going to want to miss it, and if you can't get tickets, get them to tune in to get on over to Phoenix at the Arizona State University Media Experience Immersive Center. But that is all I have for that. We're ready to go into map number 2. We've stalled long enough, Gravy. It's going to be Ship.
Ship, definitely a unique one that I was not expecting really to be played. It's very close quarters. It's really like an acquired taste, if you will. Some players like it. I would say most probably not. I don't know if I can speak for everybody. I'm kind of on the fence about it, especially with all these. I do like the rework they did with it, though. They really did open it up quite a bit,
right?
Which made it a lot easier. Because before it was very cramped. It was very, very close, and it was like hardly ever played. We do see it being picked a lot more, though, after the rework. It's been played quite a bit this season. Definitely a lot more than Maul, which kind of sucks out. We do see Wallbanes coming out from the offensive side as well, which Acer is going to be on the offense, and they're just going to be sprinting in this time. I mean, they're wasting no time at all. They're just going to be tossing util, getting the plants down, getting the kills that they need. We already see a nade kill here from Terrence as well with those utils and a pick as well. So Terrence and Pix will both get in all these picks that they needed. Tabs being able to find the last one. It's going to be a team flawless as they just sprint in there and get work done.
Yeah, we're going to see now a team that maybe even more so than Ragnarok EU or Sunset Ravens, that a team that has mastered the art of utility and flashbangs. And I think if Underdogs weren't ready, they're going to be experiencing a lot of blindness. They're going to be flashed a lot on their defensive half here. And like you said, you've got to sort of figure a way to counter that. You've got to bait out early utility so that they don't use it when it's later for that, when they're pushing in on your site.
And if I had to guess, Underdogs probably had the pick on this one. They probably picked defense. Acer, in that case, probably picked ship. So if this is their map that they like, they're obviously going to be playing offense on. They probably have a really strong offense on this map, as we already have experienced in that first round. I mean, just sprinting in there, tossing the util right where they needed to so they can go ahead and get a quick plant. I mean, they were just barreling in there. Basically, as soon as the wall was open, they were already inside. So we might see that again here. It looks like it's going to be one of the common meta pushes, which is going to be that A site. They do have 2 players a little bit off site, and they have 1 completely off site, all the way up there on the 3rd floor.
Pav's going to breach in. Flash to the back line, going to allow them to push through, but Fat Eye wasn't quite caught by it. Will scoop up the kill, but they'll also go down to Sparks over the top, and the aggressive offense does have its drawbacks. You are aggressive. You are sort of full sending your way in to a defense that is typically ready and waiting for you, and this Underdogs defense is no exception. As Tabs and Pixel Player continue to barrel forward here, Ged could find some shots on the back line. They can't, though, because they're watched by VR Zeta, so Tabs and Zeta now against only what is against like a bot, I suppose. Nick holding down B site. They should be able to plant EMP.
Oh, no. And bot Nick we trust with the Viper. Does get taken out.
Zeta's got it.
There has been a very few moments though where the bot has actually gotten kills in official matches, and I do appreciate those clips. They're pretty funny when they get sent to me.
Oh yeah, it's maybe a handful of times that we've seen it come through, but exciting when it happens. And we always kind of root for bots.
I think there was actually an official match way back when. I think this was season 1. This was Retributions. That team was only around for like, I think 1 season, but a bot has actually gotten 3 kills. I think it was either on them or against them. Gotten 3 kills in an official match, like not like in 1 round. Like in 1 round. It was pretty crazy. I've never seen it happen before.
Yeah, I don't think maybe they've tuned it down since then, but can't quite.
They were on something else.
Yeah, I can't quite trust the bots to be a competent team member as anyone that's in the top 8. That's for sure. As Underdogs are again trying to fend off what is a steamroller of a team right now. Acer absolutely on a roll with 7, 8, 9 unanswered points in a row coming through here between map 1 and now map 2.
See if they could find some sort of momentum going on here. However, they are going to be at an eco disadvantage. There is going to be no Vezins or Maruis coming into this round, which is going to be very difficult to fight off this full Vezin Acer squad. We don't see a lot of Maruis coming out from this team. I think maybe because, Ship is such a close quarter map. However, Rising Survivor swinging out, finding 2 picks with that Ural.
Yeah.
Turns it into a 3v3, but that is yeah, exactly. To your point, that is huge. That is something that they need. They do need those multiple kill picks. Fat Eye swinging around that corner does get taken out. Vincent also taken out. Sparks. So Zeta finding 2. 1 person left in the corner, and Tabs and Zeta go ahead and swing together to find that last kill.
Oh, man, the coordination is frightening to see. If you're an Underdog squad, it's got to be also a little bit disheartening to just be overwhelmed by multiple players swinging off of great utility placement. The flashbang there absolutely disabling the Underdogs defense, and I think it's going to just keep happening. You're going to keep seeing a lot of utility just raining down on the back line of this Underdog squad. It's a new meta. It's the development of a new meta, and I got to wonder if the NA teams that are maybe tuning into this are also like, wow, this is, yeah, if we're not already using flashbangs, we're going to be chucking them a lot going into our next best of 3, which will be starting at 3 p.m. PST. Yeah,
like we said earlier, only got a week to really mess around with the new update. That includes the movement changes that they have added. I heard getting stuck with an ensign and then also trying to shoot at the same time literally puts you at a stop still. You cannot move. So that's probably why we've been seeing a lot of ensign kills coming out this round as well. So even though Flash really got the buff, however, Ensign's also technically got a little bit of small buff, if you really think about it, for the movement.
Right. Yeah, that is pretty huge. You see a lot of teams kind of fight through those Ensigns and then run out once they won the fight, but a little less viable. Oh, and Sparse! Using your
Does
gun.
find a pick with the Huracan, and now coming up to the window, see if they can find 1 more. Playing super aggressive in their face with this Huracan. Love to see it.
Forces off the Acer EU offense, and they completely drop off of their grappled positions on the sidewall there, and Underdogs with 5 alive hold off the initial entry for Acer.
Flash does get good. They do not push in though fully. Waiting for the whole push here. Another flash comes out, does not find him. Get is gonna be playing the back end of this kill box. Util coming out does find a little bit of damage onto them. Gonna go ahead and rotate back, give him a little bit more space. Bark still with this Uricon. I would love to see another kill come out from that. Floor is lava. More Util. Instance coming out. Wallbane finding Fat A. They are pushing up and finding tons of space. Trips are right there. They do get found out by Pixel Player. Foam is on the wall. They are going to go ahead and start taking some space and starting their initial push. CT does find a kill over the top. GD does find another one. Terrence finds a refrag, but it is a 1v2. All up to Terrence. Can Terrence go ahead and clutch this? I don't think he's going to go for the plant. Maybe it's a bait. He's going to go ahead and swing out. Does not find initial pick. Does scoop up the EMP. Maybe going for a site rotation. Looks like that's what we're going to be seeing here.
Has a little bit of time. Got the foam. And yeah, they'll open up A. They'll get the time to plant. Wow, what a good swing. Or at the very least, they're going to draw out this rotation. Stop them from completely swinging out. They try to pick up the double kill, but they can't. And finally, Underdogs, after 7, 8, 9, 10 unanswered points, answer back and put one on the board.
And then we got to go ahead and also have a little attention here to the chat. Someone, who was it? Circus Sauce does say Underdogs have this round, I can tell. And they sure did. They did have that round. So congrats to you. You are the knower.
Yeah, and a shout out to everyone that is tuning in. We got a nice crowd this afternoon for the EU side of things. We really do appreciate all of the support. Hit that sub button, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. All of that helps boost the channel and get more folks tuning in to the VRML network, getting more folks aware of VR esports, and more folks joining your favorite VR league. So be sure to, again, help shout this out, promote the streams, get folks tuning in. The more the merrier as we do get ready for round 5. At least we're going to get more than 7 rounds here in map 2.
Maybe this is the momentum change that they needed. Because, yeah, they are looking to actually not too good on Eco, to be honest with you. We don't see a single Vezin or Marui coming out. This could be another round that they could potentially take here. Both nades coming out. They are unfortunately being wasted. Not a lot of chip damage or picks in that matter.
Tab saw Rising Survivor in the corner there, but couldn't end up taking those shots in time as Rising Survivor swings into a duo. Flashbangs and Utility coming in as Wallbang Will and Pixel Player make their way into the ship into a 2v3.
Util coming out to go ahead and slow down the push. All up to Wallbane Will and Pixel Player. Pixel Player does have a little bit of the high ground advantage. Seeing if he can get a couple picks over the top. Does swing it out. Does get up onto the counter. Looking for a couple of picks over the top. Not finding anything. Wallbane Will swinging around the side. These players got to really play together here and see if this team chemistry has what it takes to go ahead and give them this round win in a 2v3 against 2 Vezins and an Omen. It's going to definitely be a difficult situation here. It does get taken out by Fat Eye. All up to Pixel Player, who does find one with the Ensign.
And suddenly...
But does get taken out by CT. Yeah, the Ensigns have been getting quite some kills Nightfire. I mean...
Underdogs back in it. 2 and 3 on round 6 here. They could tie this up and go into a side swap on ship where they may have a fighting chance. But, of course, it is maybe the side that is enabling them to scoop up these rounds. And I gotta wonder what Acer are going to look like when we do swap over for them to be on defense. That'll happen next round. After 6 rounds, we side swap, we reset economies, and it's a first to 7. So now we're guaranteed at least 9 rounds in map 2 as Underdogs continue to tack points on the board, which is, again, is nice to see. I look at the matchup history, and it's not just in the name. Underdogs are the Underdogs. Although they've been around since season 0, They are a team that, at least this season, just squeaked in through the Challenger Cup to be one of 8 teams to play in this top 8 single elimination bracket. So congratulations to them, first off, for winning the Challenger Cup. That's no easy feat. But then, of course, for going up against Acer EU, taking a couple of rounds, I think it is quite impressive for something the Underdogs to be able to do here. So we'll see if they can take it 3-3.
They still get that skin, and at the end of the day, you know, that's what matters.
Yeah. True.
We do see a little bit of a stalled push here. Not from Acer. So really just taking their time to just assess the situation. They're very, very split up here, as we typically see them on defense as well. Lots of roamers typically. I think we'll probably see that as well when we switch. So they're going ahead and making some space in here. We see 2 picks coming out from both sides, as it's still evened out here. It's a 3v3, and now Acer has the outside of that site, and they're ready to go ahead and start their initial push. Their entire team is in this outer area. They got the foam on the wall. They're going to go ahead and work on getting that door blocker open. Zeta watching the flank, which was very useful. They're able to go ahead and find that pick on that player who did do quite a bit of damage there in the early round. So now it's just up to 2 players here on the defense, holding down this A site. Sparks leaning back a little bit into connector to just watch out for if they were to go ahead and do a quick site rotation, which potentially could happen. I mean, Acer has been known to be doing that here in the past. We saw it a lot there in Hideout. Zeta did find one on CT. It's all up to Sparks left into the connector. Cannot save. This is the last round. Does find one on to Zeta. It is a 2v1. Pixel player is low HP, but they do have the EMP plant down, which is going to be a factor for them.
That'd be a tough retake still, though. As time ticks down, they have to start making a move and a decision here. Tabs has to be first on their list. But they may just... Yeah, there's no reason in holding your gun through either. You got to push now. You got to have time for the EMP defuse. And at this point, I don't know if they will. They'll swing out. All the Acer offense has to do is tuck in and buy time, but they'll find that final kill. And they'll take their offensive half 4-2, but Underdogs doing a nice job of fighting back here today so far. For those that don't know, again, we are into the pistol round now, where we reset economy and we swap sides. So Underdogs on the attack on a map that, again, I think Acer EU have a better track record on this season. So should be favoring Acer, but Ship, I think, some of these maps, they don't tend to be perfectly, they don't trend to be perfectly balanced. You know, it's obviously the goal of Triangle Factory to make perfectly balanced maps, but you often will see at some point within a meta or within a season, a percentage of wins and losses go to one side or the other. And so, you know, I think a map like Ship is probably a 60% win rate to the defense, 40% win rate to offense. I think that's pretty standard, you know, or at least a 4-2, 3-3, something that you'll see pretty regularly on Ship. But I gotta wonder if it's gonna be enough. As whoa, Underdogs kind of sprinting in here, mimicking Acer's speed on offense.
But for a very fast hatch drop, which would be very, very dangerous. Oh gosh, Zeta with 2, Terrence with 2 as well. I mean, yeah, you're getting shot from multiple different directions. That's a very risky thing to do. It could work out if there was literally no one on site, but no, they were there. They were ready.
Very much prepared, and yeah, that completely gets shut down on the hatch play. Another look on the replay there. It was otherwise a good start with the early pick, but that early start obviously gave away the play. They knew on the Acer side that this push was going to come in, and at the end of the day, they just absolutely shut it down. So big moves and an early lead again on the half of the half, pushing their full lead up 5-2, and only 2 more points to go for Acer to advance on to the semifinals, where they will go up against Sunset Ravens. that matchup again won't be till next weekend, so you'll be sure to tune in next Saturday. Tomorrow, we have the second half of the opening stages of the single elimination bracket, so do be sure to look forward to that. As, again, there's going to be more EU action and more NA action all weekend long. Yeah, that's good. The VRML network is hot. Last weekend was something we've never done before. 4 different games getting broadcast live. I think actually 5 because we had Dash League partnered stream go live too. So 5 different games, tournaments, season finals, postseason getting broadcast on the network. It's basically the whole idea of why we're doing this and the effort of centralizing VR esports. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. The action here going the way of Acer EU on defense, absolutely denying the hatch entry.
Wow. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this hatch be dropped, ever. I'm not even in a scrim, not even in a match, necessarily. I mean, like, when you do drop this hatch, where do you necessarily go from there? Like, once you drop there? I mean, it's pretty much, like, into B, I guess? You're probably going to catch one person in there, like, watching the, the initial push-in, maybe? A little small roam. But other than that, I mean, dropping hatches is not the play. I mean, Martini says it's like day in, day again, every time he casts, every time he sees one of those drop. He does not like those hatch drops. And yeah, to his favor, I do not like him either. They never seem to work out well. I mean, the only time I've ever seen them really work out well is if you already have the gun advantage, you drop in and, like, there's no one there, and then you can get set up. But every time you drop there, you're going in like eyes blind, like, where do I look? And then it's just so easy to get util dumped, which we just saw.
I think the hatch drops could be more viable with an assist from multiple flashbangs. If you breach hatch, dumped flashes, and then dropped in, you might actually have a legitimate chance of making hatch drops more effective.
This is true. A little bit better. But yeah, as it's it didn't work the first time. I don't know why they would think it would work the second time, to be quite honest. Both times did not really go well in their favor. Almost saw a Hurricane play there. You do see there's still another Hurricane. Yep, got one pick. Does get refracted up by CT.
But Ensign nearly catching Sparks, who's on a sliver of HP. And Underdogs still have 4 up, but yeah, very low. And I don't think any health syringes available. There's like a Dio kill on the back line from Ged will cut Acer down to 2. Maybe a point for Underdogs to be earned here. Zeta finds the headshot on the Rising Survivor. And now Underdogs left with low HP survivors.
Low HP does have main advantage. They are making their way into sight, though. CT is going to go ahead and start that, but Pixel player is right there. Who's going to find 2? Ged does find the refrag, but now it's all up to Ged versus VR Zeta in a 1v1 situation. Vezin in both hands, but it's going to be a game of cat and mouse, and I think Ged might have this. Oh, the wall is not open, actually. Possibly not. If the wall was open, that would have been in the favor there for Underdog and would have gotten that kill.
The rare moment where the sidewall isn't breached and they have A-site control. Both players full HP off of health syringes, so should be an honest 1v1. About as true as you can get.
The plant? Or is he going to go for the kill? Looks like he's going to go ahead and go for the kill. Does get taken out, though, by VR Zeta, and that will be the final round. I mean, in that situation, when you instant that off, do you go ahead and finish the plant and maybe rotate the connector or in the back?
I don't know.
Maybe
at
not.
This point,
maybe not in a 1v1. I mean, that lets you know where they're at,
At this point, if you are a underdog, you don't have to worry about it much anymore. Your season is over as Acer EU advance on, and our winners here in the first stage of this single elimination bracket. They'll move on to the semifinals to go up against Sunset Ravens next weekend, Saturday, same time, same place, 9 a.m. PST. Do be sure to not miss it because it's going to be a good series. Then, obviously, next weekend we also have the finals on Sunday. So, a lot to look forward to, a lot of action left ahead of us. We also have NA starting in just 3 hours from now, or no, 4 hours from now. You'll be able to dive in and tune in to the NA Top 8 Single Elimination Bracket. 2 best-of-3 series played out there. And in 3 hours from now, you can tune into the Orion Drift NA Ignition Cup, where we'll have another single elimination bracket and eventually a champion crown for the Ignition Cup in North America. A lot to tune into on the network, and we do appreciate your support. Gravy, any final thoughts on the day as we do wrap up our first day of EU single elim?
No, I'd say great games all around. I think we got a little bit surprised there on that first match that we saw, and it turned out into a very, very close, very good game. Underdogs gave it their best shot here at the number 1 seed, and yeah, we're gonna have some great games going on later today, so make sure you stay tuned for all of that, for anything VR related. And yeah, shout out to Triangle Factory for being a great sponsor here to us in the VRML network. Any last closing thoughts here, Nightfire?
Yeah, shout out to Triangle Factory. Yeah, we do appreciate their support. They're sponsoring the VRML this season, also contributing into the VRML Con prize pool of $5,000 for the winner there. So do be sure to sign up if you haven't already. You can get all the info you need about VRML Con, which is held in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Arizona State University Media Experience Immersive Center. If you go to vrmasterleague.com/VRMLCon, all the details are there. You can buy tickets right now. They're going hot right now. Teams are starting to register, signing up for these tournaments. There is over $20,000 in cash and now hardware coming in from HyperX. Giveaways happening at the con. So if you just go to the con, you have a pretty good chance of getting HyperX keyboards, mice, microphones, headphones, earphones, all sorts of stuff that's going to be given away live at the con because of that HyperX sponsorship. A big shout out to them. Champion team's going to be getting HyperX gear. It's a tremendous sponsorship, again, coming in from HyperX, and we really do appreciate them adding in to the prizing and prize pool for what is going to be, I think, our biggest convention yet. So we really appreciate everyone that has been supporting that, and Triangle Factory, again, one of the key sponsors in making that happen. So a big shout out to Triangle Factory. Their support all season, for all 4 seasons, has been tremendous. Their dedication to the competitive community is awesome. They're one of the most dedicated teams to their games, and I'm looking forward to new games that they're working on, from new shooters to new dungeon crawlers, with their announcement there with Dungeons and Dragons partnership with their Demio style game. It's awesome. Triangle Factory. No, I think that's another. I think that's Triangle Factory. Either way, Triangle Factory, a fantastic.
Forefront.
Yeah, Forefront. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Forefront, a exciting game to be checking out, and going to be developed by Triangle Factory. So do look forward to that. But that will be it for us here on the desk for EU. We do appreciate you all tuning in. Hit the subscribe button and thumbs up button and tune in later today. My name is Ben Nightfire with 2 E's. My co-caster, Old Gravy. See you later. Stay classy. VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory,